So if you're not really that intentional with having those conversations of really learning your partner, you can be laying next to a complete stranger. What's up, real ones? Welcome back to the Relationship Podcast, where we're bringing the real back to relationships.
Yes, sir.
I'm Asha Steele.
I'm Devin Steele.
And we're so excited that you guys are tuning in today.
Yeah, man. We excited to get back to it.
Absolutely.
It's been a long, 3 weeks?
Yes.
As you can see, I got it fitted on in this episode. The only time you're going to see me wear a hat on these podcast episodes is when I don't got a haircut.
Yeah.
And I'm woofing. I've been woofing for like 2-3 weeks right now.
Yeah, I could have shaped him up, but he don't.
I let you cut me during COVID when everybody first started quarantine. No, I wasn't. Pictures don't lie. We have this stuff recorded.
You were looking fresh.
No, I wasn't. You messed me up.
That's a lie.
But I smiled and act like you did a great job because I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
Sure.
Because you're my friend. That's what this topic about today is going to be about.
How many of us have them?
Oh, man.
Friends.
Hopefully we have at least one of them. But no, how things been on your end? Momming, wifing, businessing.
Yes. So, y'all, as y'all know, like we've been on this hiatus for the past couple weeks. Devin has entered the school season.
Yeah, let's discuss that.
So
this was your first week all by yourself.
This was not this week, but the past week was my first week by myself the entire week because, like I said, Devin went off to school for the week, so I was home with the kids, right? And it honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, right? So I feel like I had to get a lot of just like systems in place, right? Like schedules and systems in place for it to run smoothly. Because if not, it would have been chaos, okay? One, I think now that Ari is a little bit older, she can be more of assistance and like help versus like if she was younger and having Amaya. I would have said, you know what? The next day you had left, I would have been on a flight with you. Yeah. I can't do this. I'm coming up there.
Right.
But no, I think it was a little bit more easygoing. Like I said, I feel like because I put the systems in place where it was like, okay, trying to have a set schedule, making sure I stick to the schedule, trying to like, whether it was like making sure I meal prepped or cooking at a certain time, doing things at a certain time so everything flowed.
Right.
Because it was picking up, dropping off. Gymnastics class, coming back, going to here, going there, having to run to the store. It was a lot that was going on, y'all.
Yeah.
But we got it done. We don't have to do it again.
Let me ask you this. Did it make you appreciate my presence more?
No.
No?
So, no, I feel like I appreciate your presence without that, but it made me, I do value, like I think we talked about this last time when you had left and I was with them. I value you being there, or maybe it was when I took a flight, but I do value being there because it's like the help that's necessary that you don't even realize like that you need in a sense. Like it's just the balance of, you see me struggling over here. I'm trying to get this done, but I also have to get this done. And I'm trying to attend to, a baby crying. And then I have a 4-year-old who's, just off doing her own thing, getting into this, that, and the third. She want to touch the stove and try to cook, and now I have to watch her. So it's just like, it's a lot. So yes, I definitely do appreciate your presence because like I said, it just gives a balance and like helps a lot.
Yeah. I asked that because even though I wasn't juggling what you were juggling, it made me appreciate you more, like just having you present. Because what's crazy is oftentimes when I listen to other men talk about marriage, they can't wait for breaks.
That's crazy.
From their wife. And I don't have that feeling towards you. Like, seriously.
So you love me.
We've been together over a decade, and I don't have those feelings where it's like when I get away, I'm like, thank God, like I got a break from her. Like I actually like being around you. I like having a family. So I don't know, it just made me appreciate your presence even more because waking up, you're like my motivation during the day, like seeing you, then seeing the kids. it's like, all right, I know what I'm out here doing this for.
Yeah.
When you away and you waking up by yourself, when you so used to all the kids running into the room in the morning, hugging us and saying good morning, you don't get that on the road. So it was different being away from you and the family for that long. It made me appreciate y'all a lot more.
Aww. Yeah. Well, that was sweet. But yes, you guys, so we are back at it, okay? We're going to try to get these episodes out before, like you say, he got to jet off again. Yeah. Because we back in school, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell them a little bit about how your week went? No?
No. It was cool. I always been the type of person where, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm not the most talented. But I will outlast people. I will work hard to get what I want out of life. And oftentimes, remember I was talking to you before, I feel like most people strive to live a life where they're comfortable. They want to die comfortable.
Yeah.
Whereas I strive to live a life filled with purpose. Understanding that oftentimes in order to live in your purpose, there's seasons of discomfort.
Right.
Probably more seasons of discomfort than, feeling like you actually walking in it.
Right.
So like even going back to school and putting myself in the room with these top executives, like $6 billion companies, like big deals, and learning from them. Like, of course, when you walk into that type of arena, there's going to be a little nerves, but a little discomfort. But understanding that you're in a room where you're not the smartest person is actually a good thing. Because now you get to grow, now you get to learn.
Yeah.
So it was cool in that sense because I feel like I learned a lot.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm excited for all your journeys. I feel like we've been on this podcast for quite some time. Yeah. And we've had this discussion before where it was like, oh, you're going into this season of this, school year and it's just being new. And I just feel like every time that we go into this journey of you embarking on a new journey is very exciting because I feel like just watching you grow and watch you flourish and thrive in different areas, like you said, in different spaces where you may feel like, am I supposed to be here? But you always show up and prove that I'm most definitely supposed to be here. Mm-hmm. So I think it's amazing. I'm excited to see the journey and where it takes us. So y'all stay tuned for that as well because, y'all, we got some things coming up with that for real.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into today's topic. We were going to go with a different topic during today's episode, but the past couple of weeks, maybe even months, me and Asha have been conducting a lot of research on friendship because we're preparing something that I think is going to be really helpful for a lot of couples out there. But the research stuck out to us so much that we wanted to dedicate an episode to talk about this because we all know how big of a role friendship plays in a relationship. Well, we know it plays a role. I don't think most people know how big of a role it plays in a relationship to have a deep friendship with your spouse. So we wanted to discuss this today with y'all.
Yeah. So you want to get into the definition before we start?
Yeah, I think it's best that we define it. I'm glad you said that. Because I don't think most people know what true friendship is. Mm-hmm. Because even when we're young, we look at, what Arya's going through. She's 4 years old and everybody she meets that makes her smile at school is now like her best friend. Mm-hmm. So starting from a young age, we don't really build relationships or friendships really based off substance.
Right.
And I can see that in Leah now. It's like she's in middle school. Social networks play a big role in adolescence, and you're trying to find your tribe. You're trying to find your friendship, and oftentimes we pick people to be our friends for the wrong reasons. So we wanted to definitely start this episode with defining what friendship is, and this definition comes from John Gottman. If you're a long listener of this podcast, we reference his work a lot. But he describes deep friendship as a mutual respect for and enjoyment of each other's company. Couples with a deep friendship tend to each other intimately. They are well versed in each other's likes, dislikes, personality quirks, hopes, and dreams. They have a lasting regard for each other and express this fondness in big and small ways day in and day out. And we just thought that that definition was so powerful because now it explains what a true friendship looks like, and how each individual is supposed to show up.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because we had, like you said, a conversation. I was going a little bit more in depth about how we define friendship, right? Yeah. And to be honest, if you hear the definition, you would think like, okay, well, that's pretty common, right? Yeah. That's what it should be at least. But a lot of times when we go into friendships or relationships where we're building to get more maybe into marriage and whatever, you don't have the real foundation of a genuine friendship, right? Yeah. You don't really know what that entails, and maybe you don't know how to be that, or your partner doesn't know how to be that for you. And so I thought it was interesting us diving deeper into what it means to have a solid friendship, because it was eye-opening. Like, you'll sit back and think like, oh, I'm a great friend. I know all of this. I know what it entails. But when you look at it and you start to really, like I said, dissect what things are and have a definition to it, now you can really understand like, okay, well, this area I need some work in, this is where I can improve and kind of, grow in the friendship area.
Yeah. Based off of that definition, and our new understanding of what true friendship is, where do you think we stood throughout our relationship, starting back from when we just was dating? Or dating, and then we moved into being in an official relationship, then to marriage? Like, what has the journey been for you as far as friendship?
I feel like for us, we've been pretty solid as far as friendship from what I thought. I feel like there's areas in which we were lacking, right. Could have used some help. For one, I feel like the mutual respect for me, I feel early on in our relationship, and like we talked about on previous podcasts, where it was disconnects, right? And it was other things that was, going on. There wasn't that mutual respect, right? There wasn't a understanding of that person's inner world and their workings and how things should be, or to what love or respect looks like for them to receive it. I feel like we've always pretty much try to get each other's, quirks and likes and dislikes. For sure, we try to pay attention to those things. But I feel like as far as the area of the respect and how certain things worked, our understanding of it, we were needing a little bit of help.
Why do you think we didn't focus on that early on?
Why?
Yeah, like discovering each other's inner world and having an understanding on how they process things and the experience they're going through. Because I think in a lot of relationships or marriages, each person thinks that they're going on the same experience.
Right.
And they experience certain things in life the same. But we all have different perspectives because things have shaped us throughout life.
Yeah.
So why do you feel like we didn't really have that many check-ins in the beginning to find out what that other person was like really going through?
I feel like I feel like we were very young and we weren't intentional. Yeah. We didn't really have the resources that we have now, the knowledge that we have now to be like, okay, this is what should be done. This is what a healthy relationship looks like. This is what a friendship looks like. So I feel like it just, we didn't know. I also feel like with our situation is very unique, which other people may go through things like we didn't really have the luxury or time to really focus on those things in a sense. Like I feel like it was, or we didn't make, I would say, the luxury or time to focus on those things or prioritize those things just with life happening, right? It seemed like from the time we met, there was a brief period of time where we actually were able to be intentional with each other before it was a whirlwind. Yeah. And everything started to, our attention and our priority and our focus started to, get pulled like kind of like a tug of war. And so I think that's really what caused for us the challenge or the disconnect for us not really prioritizing or focusing on that friendship portion or the areas that we should have been focusing on where we were lacking. I feel like was the cause for that.
Yeah. When I look back at, our journey, it's crazy. It's really been over a decade. You said something to me the other day that I'm going to share with them where you said, and it was so crazy because I never thought about it like this. You said you are the one individual I have spent the most time with in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been doing this over a decade. And for a large part of that, we have lived together.
Mm-hmm.
We have literally been with each other almost every day.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have really dedicated more time to you than anybody because I haven't spent this amount of time with nobody else. It's crazy to look at it like that. But in the beginning, I think one of the things that helped us out was the long distance relationship we were in is we didn't spend a lot of time together, which probably would have been, amazing now that I think about it. Because every time we were together was amazing when we was getting to know each other. I'm sorry, let me get back on the past. But it forced us to talk about things of substance on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So although I don't think that we had a deep respect for each other's inner world, and I think mainly on my part, is we still knew each other's inner world a lot, maybe more than most people.
Right.
So when our world did get flipped upside down and we went through something real, I think that friendship was a cushioning for the blow that we took. I feel like we drained all that friendship that we built up during that time. We drained it when we were going through the storm.
For sure.
And we didn't take time to refill that emotional tank that you often talk about, that friendship tank. We just kept riding. It's like when you grow up, when you're young, you go and ride your car on empty until you get to the gas station, hope you don't break down.
Right.
Like we looking at the thing like, how much longer we got to go? We can make it home. And it's like we were trying to make it to death do us part, but we would have ran out of gas if we didn't discover what we needed.
Yes.
We would have broke down.
Yes.
And I don't know, man. Like I just hope that this episode really blesses people and gets them to really understand the importance of this friendship. So one of the reasons why we felt like we had to talk about this, and one of the reasons why we say that friendship plays such a huge role in your marriage, is because research has shown time and time again, right, that the quality of the friendship in the relationship determines about 70% of the satisfaction people feel in their marriage in regards to sex, romance, and passion. That's a large number.
Huge.
70% of your satisfaction in your relationship is due to the quality of the friendship you and your partner have. And most people don't have strong foundations or deep relationships, friendships with their partner because we don't do enough check-ins. A lot of people do what me and you did. Like we started off like most relationships, so much positive sentiment override. Like we believed that our partner, our relationship was perfect. But then that friendship dies down as you go through different things in your life and you're not checking in on each other and you start to grow apart and that friendship starts to dwindle. And we started to suffer in all these areas.
Right.
Which is crazy. And I think it will answer a lot of people's questions of why we can't just get right.
Yeah. I feel like it is interesting because when you are in a relationship, you would think that it would come natural, that you would focus on the friendship portion, right? Because it's just like, I would feel like the core of your relationship. Like if you're happy with this person, if you enjoy their company, if they, you like you said, you understand their likes and the dislikes and you do the little things, you just get it, right? Yeah. You can be yourself with this person, you can be open, and it's just like your best friend.
Right.
But it's so, like you said, just life happens and you start to disconnect from people. And you realize that even when you're not talking about romantic friendships, but you're talking about maybe friendships that you had from your childhood as well, like seasons and things start to happen. And you start to realize that if that substance isn't there as far as the friendship, if it's not built on what we define as what a pure friendship is, then that's the reason why, because you don't have that solid foundation.
Yeah. What do you think? Because a lot of people are listening to this right now and they're like, you know what? I feel what y'all going through. Like me and my partner, we started off, we was the best of friends. Like we talked on the phone all the time all night till we fell asleep. I couldn't wait. If something good happened at work, I couldn't wait to share it with them. Something bad happened, I couldn't wait to share it with them. Like I wanted to be with them all the time and tell them everything that was going on in my life. And then now one day we wake up and we're so far removed from that space. Like I don't want to tell you anything about what's going on, good or bad.
Yeah.
We just exist in each other's space, but we're not really present with each other. And I feel like a lot of people may be in that place right now, and we know what that's like to just go through the motion, to just wake up, and it's like we're living in two different worlds.
Right.
How were we able to build back up that friendship, which is so hard to do? Like in your perspective, like what do you think that we did?
I feel like we took the time to really learn each other. I think that was the biggest thing, because I feel like when you had been together for a long period of time, it's like the person that you were with is not the person that you're with 5 years later.
Yeah.
It's not the person that you were with 10 years later. And then, like you said, God forbid, storms come and it shapes and shifts your lives and your personality and things about you that makes you not the same. And so if you're not constantly being willing to learn your partner over again, if you're not constantly being willing to, introduce yourself to your partner again.
Yeah.
So I feel like for us, it was us really being vulnerable enough to say, you know what, who we was when we came into this relationship at 22 years old is not who we are 28, 30 years old, right? Not who we are at 32 years old. Age. Well, no, I'm saying when we started, she
said, y'all gonna know we in our 30s, but you ain't gonna know.
Yeah, y'all know how we are. But when you start to really like get into that season, because like I said, I want to say like maybe around like 30, right? Your 20s and who you are for us is not who you are most of the times in your 30s, right? You get to this phase in life where it's just like,
if you are something wrong,
your priorities change, right? Things change in life, and it's just like you're growing. And you don't have that same mentality, that same outlook on life, that same perspective that you did 10 years ago. And so I feel like at that space, it was, okay, we have to sit down and really relearn each other. We have to rework some things. And we were both on the same page of doing that and understanding that, okay, in order for us to really move forward, this is going to have to happen.
Yeah. I agree. I think also, it's like you said earlier, we took the time to learn, but we also took the time to implement. Like it's one thing to know what you can do in order to better your friendship or better your relationship. It's one thing to actually do it. And I would say that one thing that I think has served us well in the past and is serving us right now is that we recently implemented the stress reducing conversations at night, where we just sit down and we just talk about, stressors that we may be facing outside of our relationship, outside of the household, and how that person can support you the next day so that it's not as stressful. And the other day I said to you, like, man, I'm glad we started doing this because I just learned something about you that I didn't know.
Right.
That's being intentional about having a 5-minute conversation at night. That 5-minute conversation, me and you ended up talking, I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
But it was a long time. And I learned so much about you. And me and you, like I said earlier, we've been doing this for a decade. Like, I feel like I know you. But to be able to go that deep with you after 10 years and learn more about you, number one, it excites me that you're like on a new path, because it's like, all right, now I see, her becoming her best version of herself. I think that's also an indicator of a healthy and deep friendship, is if you care about your partner's well-being, their dreams, their hopes, like them becoming the best possible version of themselves.
Right.
So when I heard you say that, number one, again, I was excited, but I was like, man, now I know where she's at in her life and how I can support her along this journey. But just implementing that one small thing led to hours of conversation.
Right.
Which honestly, it felt good to me.
Yeah. I feel like it's for a lot of people, they probably are in a position where it's like, you think that your friends, right? Oh, we get along. We don't really argue that much. You know, we go hang out here and there, this, that, and the third. But I feel like you don't realize how easy it is for you to disconnect from your partner and not know it, right? Mm-hmm. Not to really have that solid friendship. Because with us, I was thinking, oh, we're great friends, right? I said to you, like, oh, I feel like you're my best friend. Mm-hmm. And then once we started to, you know, do the research and you were showing me things, it was just like, well, dang, are we? Yeah. Because to me, it's just like when you're living life and you have so much going on, if you're not intentional with like sitting down, like you said, and having those conversations, sitting down and really asking your partner in-depth questions to really understand what's in the core of them, right? For the most part, you don't come home and just be like, after work and be like, Lord, let me tell you this. And then you just go in, like just let it out. So if you're not really that intentional with having those conversations of really learning your partner, you can be laying next to a complete stranger and don't even realize it. And I think that's why it's so important to have those moments to be intentional, because like you said, us having those conversations was eye-opening for both of us, because we was able to dig deeper into who we are now at this point in life, what our dreams and goals are for the future from now, from this perspective of today, not from yesterday or last year, but where we're at this moment. And it's a lot different. Mm-hmm. And you don't even realize it because, like I said, the hustle and bustle of life, I'm thinking, oh, I done lay down with this man yesterday. He the same man. But anything can be going on. If you're not intentional with asking your partner those questions, then you're losing rather than gaining a friendship.
Yeah. And, oh, man, during one of our conversations, we were talking about how, you know, we want to be that person for each other that you can come to about everything. Mm-hmm. That you want to, not that you can, but I want to. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't wait to call her. If something happened good to me, I can't wait to sit down and tell you, because I know when I tell you, it's going to make it feel even better, because now I'm celebrating with somebody that I love and somebody who is excited for me. The worst thing is, you know, something good happened to you. You go tell your spouse, they act like it's not even a big deal. Right. You know what I mean? Then you don't want to come to them no more about anything because they made something good feel bad. Or even if you're going through something bad, I can't wait to come tell. If I'm going through something bad, I can't wait to come tell you, because I know I'm going to feel better. Not because you're going to fix the problem I'm dealing with, but because you're going to show me that, yeah, you're going through something, but that also means I'm going through something as well. And we're going to go through this together. And it doesn't matter what the outcome's going to be, good or bad. When we exit this storm, we are going to be holding hands together. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that a lot about you and our friendship. And this is the importance of other people being able to build it, because a lot of people are living through things with their partner, but they're not going through things with their partner. Like, if you're going through something, I'm not on the outside looking in, wondering like, dang, man, I can't believe she going through that. Or, man, that's crazy going through. It's like, nah, I look at you, babe, damn, we really going through this? This is crazy. Yeah. This is crazy. We really walking through this together. So it's like we experience when we go through stuff, because me and you been through a lot of stuff together, like crazy stuff, like things that you went through in your life, things I went through in my life, things we went through together. But it's like, yo, we always took the time to try to understand. Yeah. Like when you face some real stuff, it was like, I'm trying to fix it as much as possible because it broke my heart. Yeah. Things that you've went through. Mm-hmm. And you've done the same to me. And when you were able to like have somebody to go through life with like that, bruh, I be feeling like anything possible. Yeah.
You just made me think of something, because I had saw a post actually on social media, and someone was talking about how a man was talking about how his wife was battling cancer. Yeah. But he said our battle with cancer. Yeah. And I thought that was so powerful, because like you said, you're not taking on just like, oh, being there for that person. It's not, I'm a bystander. It's like, we're in this together and we're going through this together. Whether it be me actually going through those chemo sessions and getting it within my body, I'm still in this fully with you. So this is our journey together. And I thought that was so beautiful because a lot of people are just bystanders in their relationships. Yeah. They're just looking in and they don't even realize how much it's impacting their relationship that they're not fully in it, in commitment, in that relationship, in that friendship, like to death do you part, right?
We in that mud together.
Right. And so I thought that was, you just bring that up, made me think of that because it's just like how many times there's someone going through something and you may be there with them, but you're not there, you know, you're disconnected or it doesn't feel like you're really going through the go through with them. And I thought that was beautiful. And like you said, I feel like we've been through several things within our relationship where it was just like, this is not just a journey that I'm just sitting here looking from the outside window, but it's just like, no, we going through this hand in hand, going through the storm. Like we said before, it's raining, guys, it's storming. We both getting wet, right? And so I think for us, it was like, yes, we were lacking in certain areas of friendship, but there was always a solid, I feel like it was always something solid holding us together within that friendship. And I feel like that's just in any relationship, you're always going to be growing. That willingness to just be in that with that person and to learn and grow and to stay fully commitment is what really keeps you going.
Man. And I think we became better friends when we became accountable. That was a key to us being better friends. Is now we started to be more accountable for our own actions and the negativity that we contributed to the relationship.
Okay.
Because until you can take accountability for, you know, things that you have done that have contributed to your partner showing up a certain way in your relationship, you can't really fix it. Share this with them really quick. I had to have a conversation with myself. Because like you said, me and you have been through a lot. A lot of stuff that we've been through was things that were out of our control and some things in our control. And there are things that I have done in the past that have hurt you, right? When you trying to show up, I'm hurting you, trying to be the best person you can be for me. But whether it was, you know, actually not just outside of what Leah was going through, but just things that I have done throughout our relationship that may not have made you feel like a priority. I think that's the best way to put it. Things that I have done to not make you feel like a priority, because as my wife, you're supposed to be my number one priority. Those things hurt you. And we talked about before on previous episodes about negative sentiment override, which basically just means that negativity overrides the positivity in your relationship. Like when your partner does something, whether they did it on purpose or not, you just take everything as negative. Right. Like you come from a negative perspective because that person has hurt you so much in the past that now negativity is really clouding him. And before I used to put the blame on you, like, come on, man. Like you got NSO, you suffering from this, that, and the third.
NSO.
But then
NSO. And that could have been a song.
Yeah, Soulja Boy song. But as I was doing more research, it talked about how negative sentiment override really shows up in your relationship where y'all don't have a deep friendship, where y'all had lost connection. And when I read that, it hit home for me because now I had to be accountable for what I have done. Like you're accountable for the way you showed up, but I now had to put myself in your shoes. Like, what did I do that possibly could have contributed to this? And allowing our friendship to fade was an issue. And that's why it is my goal for us to build the best friendship ever, because I know that that's going to be the key to our success and us overcoming things and our marriage being filled with positive sentiment override rather than negative, where you give your partner the benefit of the doubt and y'all not always butting heads because you only focus on the negatives in your partner.
Yeah. I think that's a huge point that you made, because when you're in a friendship, it's like when you start to take that accountability for your actions, you have a breakthrough. And I can explain it like in both scenarios where it'd be like a friendship just with your friends or in a romantic relationship. But it's just like, if you do something to hurt your partner, right? Or if y'all having a disagreement and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna be right, right? Man. I'm right, they wrong. I'm not doing this. Like, you start to get defensive because you're trying to protect what your beliefs are, even if you know they're wrong, right? When you get to that space where you're able to take accountability and realize, you know what? I was wrong. But not only do I realize that I'm wrong, I'm going to let you know that I was wrong. And I'm going to apologize for that.
Yo, can you say that again? Yo, can you say that again? Because I feel like, I'm telling you right now, there are going to be some men listening to this right now, and they're going to say, my wife never tells me when she's wrong.
It's so, listen, I've had these breakthroughs.
Come on now. Teach them how to get their
friends and with my husband, okay? When you're having a conversation, because sometimes we can be a little headstrong, right? And we want to be right. And even if we're wrong, we want to be right, okay? We don't want you to know that we're wrong. And we don't want to admit to that. And so once you're able to sit up here and take that accountability to say, I'm wrong in this situation, I realize that I'm wrong, to yourself first, then you're able to go to your partner. You're able to say, you know what? I was wrong in the manner in which I handled this. I was wrong in what I said, whatever it is, and acknowledge that your actions was wrong, to take accountability for it, and then to apologize and have a conversation, whether offer solutions or however it goes from there. That's when you really have a breakthrough, because now I'm not operating off of now I'm just stuck in my own ways. I'm not really trying to grow. I'm not trying to build a deeper friendship. I don't have a deeper connection with you, because now it's a tug of war. We fight and we butting heads because nobody's really willing to give up on that seat of
the ego.
I'm just going, I'm gonna be right. You're not gonna prove me wrong. And even if you ain't wrong, no, you're not fighting that ego. It's just like, you know what? This is the person I love. This is the person that I want to be with. This is the person that I care about. This is my friend. I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want to bicker and fight with this person. So you know what? If I'm doing something, or if I've done something and I realize it, let me take accountability for that. And just watch how things unfold and start to happen in your relationship once you take it from that stance. Because the hardest thing for most people to overcome is the accountability factor. Like, it's like it's so challenging, because now I got to own up and sit on some that I'm not perfect. I'm not right. I'm actually wrong. I messed up. And most people don't want to look themselves in the mirror and take that accountability. But once you're able to, mature and grow up and start to come into your a better understanding of yourself, then you're able to handle people in situations differently. And so I think that's what a lot of people do lack. I know that we lacked at one point, and other relationships are probably suffering from that as well. But once you have that breakthrough, it's so life-changing.
Yeah. And we're like I said, it's crazy, because I haven't been, no, I'm being serious. I haven't had a passion for something like this, especially school related. Like, I know people like, oh, you got this degree, you went to this school, you so smart. It's like, no, I had talked to you. No, like, this has everything that I have gone through when it comes to education has been a challenge. It has been a struggle. I've had to fight my way through it. So to be this heavy into this, to enjoy reading books, to enjoy reading research, because to me, it answers so many people's problems. Like, when I went to school and I found that there was a science to love, like, oh, there's people out here that do research and show you what the best practices are in order to increase the likelihood that you will reach till death do us part. I fell in love with it, and it was so weird to me. But it's also exciting, because I feel like we are building a platform where we can share this information. Because yes, we came on here, we talked about how important friendship is. A lot of people talk about that online, but do they know how to build it? Mm-hmm. So we wanted to have this episode to talk to y'all about the importance of friendship. But best believe we are coming with the stuff to improve it. We are putting in the work. So I'm excited about this because I think this is going to be a game changer for a lot of couples out there right now. If you don't know what to do, because we didn't share a whole bunch right now, but there's one thing that we talked to y'all about, and I was having a stress-reducing conversation at night. Mm-hmm. Sit down and just talk to each other. You never know what it'll lead to. Mind you, it's not about stressors you're dealing with in your relationship or what your partner can do better, but what are you going through outside of our household? How can I support you in that way? And like I said, that led to maybe 1 or 2 hour conversation between me and you that started off as just 5 minutes. But it's if you implement the things that we're talking about on this podcast, because this is free game, you'll already start to see changes in your relationship.
Yeah, for sure. So we hope you guys, like you said, really got something from this, and stay tuned because there's a lot more to come. And until next time, keep it real.
Yes, sir.